Oh, sweetheart, you believed it was over. The narrative is just getting started. And trust me when I say that things will get worse than you can imagine. Kirk Frost thought he could overlook this. But what do you know? He was struck in the face by the terrible reality. After his shocking arrest for allegedly assaulting Rasheeda, Kirk was already facing a great deal of criticism. But new facts are now emerging, and they're worse than anyone could have imagined. There is the possibility of financial fraud, betrayal, hidden affairs, and a secret that might land Kirk in jail for years. CIS isn't going to give up Rasheeda. In fact, she will strike Kirk in the most painful spot, his wallet. According to insiders claim that Rasheeda has hired a top-tier legal team and is preparing to deny Kirk everything. The business, the assets, and his occupation. And just when you think things can't get much worse, guess what happens? This woman and Kirk were having an affair. Darling, Rasheeda entrusted her life to this individual. There is more to this issue than just infidelity. It's a total financial and emotional meltdown. Rasheeda is also close to winning. Get some popcorn because this story is about to blow up. According to Kirk Frost, he was getting away with it. He had done it before. Cheating, manipulation, and dishonesty. He had always had Rasheeda's support. Jasmine Washington was able to forgive him when he fathered a side child with her. After she pardoned him, she observed having sex with other females. She forgave him when the business operations turned suspect. When rumors of financial wrongdoing began to spread, Rasheeda was always willing to forgive Kirk. But this time, yes, this time, it's different. Because Kirk not only betrayed Rasheeda emotionally, but also financially. He didn't just fabricate a lie about adultery. He built a whole second life behind her back. And when Rasheeda learned the truth, Kirk became irate. Things blew out the moment he touched Rasheeda. It all started months ago. Rasheeda discovered strange activity on their company accounts. Little steps were taken at first. $2,000 here, $5,000 there. Kirk was in charge of much of the money. Consequently, Rasheeda didn't think about it. But then the numbers started to rise. Tens of thousands of dollars disappear overnight. Payments made by wire transfer to foreign accounts. The documents contain fake firm names. Rasheeda tried to give Kirk the benefit of the doubt, as she always did. Maybe it was a mistake, she thought, or maybe Kirk was investing in his company. But when suppliers started complaining about unpaid invoices and business partners started pulling out of negotiations, Rasheeda knew something was wrong. She confronted Kirk about it one evening while they were sitting at their home. Kirk brushed it off as if it were non-existent. You're giving it too much thought. It's business, announced Kirk. You wouldn't understand. But Rasheeda didn't think it was true. When she started looking at the financial information herself, the pieces started to come together. Rasheeda went over the bank statements late at night. That's when she saw a pattern. Large amounts of money were routinely deposited into the same account number. When she looked for the name on the account, her heart stopped. It has a name, according to one of her closest pals. This was someone Rasheeda had known for years, a mother who had been at her house, sitting at her dinner table and playing with her kids. Someone who has supported Rasheeda during Kirk's multiple scandals involving adultery. And now Kirk was the object of this woman's affair. Kirk was also using Rasheeda's money to support their lifestyle. Rasheeda couldn't believe it. She had a physical illness, but she needed proof. Real proof. Rasheeda hired a private investigator to find out more, and the investigator came to the following conclusions. It was, in fact, worse than anyone had anticipated. Kirk has been seeing this woman for over a year. He had been taking her on lavish vacations to Paris, Dubai, and the Bahamas. First-class flights, 5-star hotels, and private villas were all paid for via Rasheeda's corporate accounts. But things get worse. Kirk also bought this woman a condo in Miami with money from their joint business account. And the mistress was no ordinary old lady. Kirk had been emotionally invested in her for years. Text exchanges between Kirk and the mistress revealed Kirk had promised to break up with Rasheeda and start dating the mistress again. He signed the paperwork in her name and told her that he planned to sell his share of the business. Rasheeda had built her empire with blood, tears, and work, and Kirk wanted to take it away from her. When Rasheeda showed him the facts, Kirk did not try to deny it. He laughed. You're not going to do anything about it, Kirk said. Because you need me. It was then that Rasheeda had a revelation. Kirk had been manipulating her emotionally and financially for years. He wanted her to believe that she couldn't succeed without him, and that she might not be able to survive without him. But that empire had been built by Rasheeda, not Kirk. Now she was going to take it all back. But before Rasheeda could say another word, Kirk shouted. According to the police report, Kirk grabbed Rasheeda by the arm and pushed her up against the wall. The neighbors could hear the glass breaking and the shouting. There was a 911 call. When the police arrived, Rasheeda was crying, and her arm was starting to bruise, but Kirk was standing there calmly as always. The officers acted without hesitation. They handcuffed Kirk and let him go from the residence. Additionally, Kirk dared to inform the police that it wasn't that awful. But the cops weren't enjoying themselves. Kirk was arrested for domestic abuse right away. When they went through Kirk's phone, the real damage started. Investigators found hundreds of text exchanges between Kirk and the mistress. Financial talks, flirty texts, and intimate photos. Kirk had promised the mistress that he would take Rasheeda's business and put it all in her name, which was the worst part. Kirk had been using Rasheeda's identity and login credentials to set up fake company activities and get loans. He even falsified Rasheeda's signature in a number of the contracts. In addition, the mistress was not just an observer. She wasn't the one. According to text exchanges, she had been pressuring Kirk to fire Rasheeda and start over with her. Rasheeda concluded. She quickly enlisted a team of renowned lawyers and forensic accountants to investigate Kirk's financial activities. What did they find? It was damning indeed. Over $2 million had been embezzled from their company's accounts by Kirk. He had engaged in tax fraud by money into overseas accounts without revealing it. Among other things, he had violated the conditions of his business agreement with Rasheeda. The worst part is that Kirk used some of the stolen money to pay child support for his side child with Jasmine Washington. Rasheeda's legal team filed an urgent appeal to freeze Kirk's assets, including his real estate, business shares, and personal accounts. They couldn't even access Kirk's credit cards. Then, Rasheeda wanted total authority over their business. Since Kirk had violated the terms of their agreement, Rasheeda was now legally able to dismiss him as a business partner. If the judge rules in favor of her, Kirk will lose everything. The mistress flipped. To protect herself, the mistress agreed to testify against Kirk. She provided them with receipts, communications, and even recordings of Kirk admitting to stealing money. If found guilty of tax fraud and embezzlement, Kirk could be imprisoned for up to 15 years. Additionally, because the assault charge is separate, Kirk might face additional jail time for domestic violence. Kirk's career is wrecked, oh no. Sponsors have already dropped him. On social media, his reputation has taken a hit. The hashtag #CancelKirk has been trending for days. Even Kirk's most loyal fans have abandoned him. Meanwhile, Rasheeda is doing well. She has already signed a deal for a documentary series about the incident. Insiders claim that the focus of the show will be on Rasheeda's journey from betrayal to retribution and surviving Kirk Frost. Kirk thought he was invincible. He thought he would be forgiven forever by Rasheeda. He thought he could defraud her, cheat on her, and yet get away with it. But now that he underestimated Rasheeda, Kirk is paying the price. Kirk sits in a detention cell. The assets of his business are frozen. His dominion has collapsed. His side woman had deceived him. Since Kirk lost everything, including his wife, Rasheeda is stealing everything. And he deserves it, to be honest. What is Kirk going to do next? According to reports, his legal team is already trying to reach a plea deal, but Rasheeda isn't giving up. After years of financial deception, emotional abuse, and adultery, Kirk is now paying the price. If convicted of tax fraud and embezzlement, he could receive a 15-year term, years in prison. Furthermore, assault counts are not included in it. Oh my, Rasheeda is already planning her next move. Sources claim that Rasheeda is almost finished with a multi-million-dollar documentary contract. And once the whole truth is out, the internet will be shut down. Kirk has lost his job. He has a damaged reputation. Rasheeda is also close to winning. Make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and activate notifications so you can be the first to hear what Kirk says when he does. And trust me when I tell you that this problem is far from resolved.